I love fan theories, I really do. If there's any indication on how much your movie has touched the lives of viewers, it's seeing how some people will pour countless hours into piecing together plots and explaining confusing moments in great detail. That being said, a fair few of them are absolute tosh, but hey ho, that's the gambit you run in Tin Hat Town. Yet today we're going to pay respect to some of the oddest theories out there that actually hold some water. With this in mind, I'm Jules for Whatculture.com, and these are the 7 craziest film fan theories that actually make total sense. Number 7. Cyrus the Virus had a brother in the law. So the thrust of this theory is that Cyrus the Virus Grissom, aka the man who held a bunny to ransom in Con Air, incited 3 riots and was responsible for a lot of murdering, has a brother in the form of CSI TV star Gil Grissom. While it might seem like a really odd link between the two, there's more to the theory than just odd thinking. Both Con Air and CSI were produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, and he created characters for both. Plus, it would therefore create a scene where Cyrus's horrible death at the end of the film in Las Vegas would mean that his brother would likely be on the team that analysed his body. Number 6. What really happens when you cross the streams? Throughout the first Ghostbusters film, we're made acutely aware that the unlicensed particle accelerators on the heroes' backs are not toys, and that crossing the 2 particle streams would be extraordinarily bad news for the Ghostbusters concerned, and possibly for the universe in general. However, at the climax of the film, that's exactly what they're driven to do. Cross the streams in order to reverse the particle flow through an extra-dimensional gate and remove Gozer and Zool from their world. The plan works and everyone goes on with their day, except what if it didn't? What if, instead of removing the baddies from their world, that they created an alternate timeline in which they simply weren't there to begin with? It would explain why no one seems to give 2 tosses about the Ghostbusters in the second film and why no one recognizes their efforts. The theory goes on to state that all they've really done is save themselves, dooming their original timeline to a world of evil while they get to live out a new one. Number 5. Andy's deadbeat dad. So the question is, where is Andy's dad in the original Toy Story movie? It's odd, there aren't any pictures of him in the house, plenty of Andy and his baby sister Molly, a couple of their mother, but none of their father. Something must have happened with the family fairly recently, as Molly is only about a year old. If he died, the pictures would still be up, and Andy's welfare after the loss would be one of the main topics of conversation amongst his toys, especially Woody. He never appears in any of the films, and he's never mentioned by anyone, including the toys, which implies that fairly recently Andy's dad left the picture. This is supported by them having to move in the first Toy Story to a smaller house, and even explains some of Woody's motivations, that he's so protective over Andy and wants to be the best toy in order to be a positive male role model in his life. Number 4. Sandy's last few seconds on this planet. We've all seen Grease, right? The musical romp detailing love, beaches, racing, possible teen pregnancy. Okay, and also the tragic death of the female lead Sandy. Did that last one seem out of place? Well, the theory goes that in the song Summer Nights, Sandy is said to have nearly drowned and would have died if Danny hadn't saved her. But what if Sandy actually did drown? And this strange series of events is her brain's last gasp for oxygen as she dies. It would explain the outlandish song and dance routines, why her parents never return home, and even why she appears to fly off into the sky at the end, waving goodbye to the people as she does. Number 3. The Killer and the Sheriff. In 2007's No Country for Old Men, one of the factors that keeps the film so utterly tense is that the 3 major characters never actually meet one another. This has led many to speculate that what if there's a bigger reason why they never share the screen? What if the sheriff and the hired killer are one and the same and it's a split personality which keeps them apart? This is actually supported throughout the film. At the beginning, for example, when his wife tells him not to get hurt, he agrees. She then tells him not to hurt anyone else, and there's a slight pause before he answers. Later in the conversation with Moss's wife, he's emotionless and monotone for a moment, which seems like the crossover of personalities before his usual pleasant tone returns. At the very end of the film, Belle enters a motel room, a crime scene, in which we're clearly shown that Anton is actually hiding behind the door. Eventually, Belle opens the door, which quietly hits the wall to show that there's no one behind it after all. Belle searches the room, failing to encounter the killer, and notes that the bathroom window, the only other way out, is locked from the inside. Number 2. They've needed a bigger boat for years. Don't you find it a little off that in the film Jaws, the mayor insists on treating the first death as a boating accident, and even more so when the coroner agrees with him, and even more even when they say it's happened before? Well, this just paints a picture of a town that's been hiding a great white lie for some time. It even explains why there's a tiger shark which gets wheeled out as the air quotes killer, which is a shark that's rarely seen in those waters. The theory implies that they keep this backup to kill and bring out to calm the public. Yet now now, with this new and rather meddlesome chief of police, the town can't hide the killings any further. It's implied that the shark has been plaguing the town for some time, and corruption has stopped it from ever reaching mainstream attention. I tell ya, hipster sharks, none of that please. And number 1, floppy-haired urchin Jack Dawson never existed. So, remember at the end of Titanic, after you've been through the emotional slaughterhouse and witnessed one of the greatest tragedies ever to befall a boat, old lady Nightingale casually mentions that Jack, the love of her life and big fan of personal space, exists only in her memories. Now, this moment rushes by so quickly that most people would just see this as being a memento to her lost love. However, what if it's actually revealing that she's made the whole thing up? This then branches into a deeper theory that this woman is not Rose, but an imposter posing as her to attempt to cash in on the tragedy because she is in fact a failed actress desperate to hold on to the limelight. I know this sounds very mental, but it explains so much, from why she keeps photos of herself in various on-screen roles and even why she dumps the gem off the side. You see, it's a fake, and she knew that if she kept it that people would easily see it as such. It ruins what is a fantastic and tragic love story, but then again does add a whole lot of spice to it. And that's our list. I apologise if my energy was a bit low, I'm actually feeling pretty ill at the moment, but if you've got any other crazy fan theories which actually make a lot of sense, then let us know about them in the comments section below. And why not swing by Whatculture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. As always, I've been Jules, you've been awesome, and I'll speak to you soon if I don't die.